homage, Yahoo, phantom of the forest, you spear finger, fire dragon, Ohio grassman, silver giant, bloodless hollow, West Virginia vampire, coyote king, hogzilla, devil, dark coyote killer. Cave creature, mothman, smoke wolf, a lizard, demon, ashman, grafting monster, cow-killing bastard, shadow creature, dustman, Cherokee, death cat, wild man, great fire ape. What else do I have to say? Steal yourself some chicken wire, and I'll get some lumber. Catch the Thunder Brothers. Don't you dare get out of the golf cart. We can keep our big seats while we hunt the big feet. Snarly Gasterote, Red Island Bear Beast, Silver Giant, Squalling Savage, Black Wolf was kind of average, Stone Giant, Raven Mocker, Midnight Whistler, Wampus Beast, Wawa Woman, Ohio Grassman again. Technically Huckleberry Wolfman or Wolf County, need to find the X again if we hunt the Lightning Man. Webster's Werewolf, Daily Howl, Kentucky Hellhound, Little Girl, Headless Horror, I can't take it anymore. Steal yourself some chicken wire, and I'll get some lumber. Catch the Thunder Brothers. Don't you dare get out of the golf cart. We can keep our big seats while we hunt the big feet.
This here's BIGFEETS, the only Mountain Monsters watch-along podcast. I'm Robert Brockway, and I have a tattoo on my abdomen of two overweight hillbillies slap fighting in the woods. Some say it's a prophecy.
And I'm Sean Baby. My only pleasure came in the form of an act of charity, handing a stick of gum to a crippled survivor who plunged the gum into his mouth with unrestrained joy. The boy had lost his right leg below the knee due to a landmine probably planted years in the past during the height of the Vietnam War. It lay dormant until an innocent child happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. The kid hung out with us for days. He had emerged from the jungle smiling through missing and broken teeth. His round shaven head swung back and forth as he limped forward to accept gleefully my remaining sticks of gum, which I couldn't bring myself to chew anyway. I nicknamed him Chester after Marshall Dillon's limping sidekick in Gunsmoke. Listen to last episode to find out what happened to Chester.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin.
Okay, so Chester is a Pez dispenser? He's got one leg. He hops out there and just gobbles gum with gentle abandon.
God, he loves gum.
And
I skipped a paragraph. Frank Dukes in the paragraph previously had come across a village that had been like scorched with artillery. And he said the children there looked like burnt gingerbread men. I'm telling you now, earlier I made the decision not to tell you about it because I thought it was so grim. But luckily he came back from that to find love again with Chester, the one-legged boy who loved gum.
To befriend a human Pez dispenser
Right.
who would soon die. I just realized
blasted by his best friend.
I just realized why he hopped backwards in that first passage.
Yeah, which makes your jokes about that seem incredibly insensitive.
Yeah,
I'm the monster.
Yeah. That's a real boy.
Yeah.
Frank Dukes
That
wouldn't lie
really
about a one-legged
happened.
boy his friend murdered.
That kid could still be out there listening.
God, it derails my brain every single time. I just want to talk for about an hour about the thing you just said. But instead of that, I guess we'll do some plugs. Jason.
The book that I've been talking about on here for the last couple of years is $3 if you're listening to this in the month of June 2025, which you should be because you should listen the moment these episodes get up. They are timely. They expire. But yeah, in ebook form, any ebook format, $2.99. I'm starting to worry about this black box of doom. Those of you who have been holding out because books are way too expensive, and I'm going to be frank, not $30 worth of book, but $3. That's like a quarter of a cup of coffee. It would be weird if you can't afford $3 for an ebook. To be frank,
I'll go. I also have a new book. Here's the position that I'm in. In an author's contract now these days, they have a window and a certain set of obligations where you have to promote your book And they have said, so that leads them saying, here's a time where you, Robert Brockway, you have to go on social media, which I hate to do and barely have anymore. I don't even really know what the things are that work. And I have to say, everybody, buy my stupid book. I think it's great. I have to tell you that. Legally, I have to tell you that. And I, just based on who I am and the personality problems that I have, I react very poorly to authority. So I've decided that I'm not going to do that until the absolute last moment that I possibly have to do it. And that moment is quickly coming up. And you know what? I'm starting to think, I'm going to go past it. I'm going to see how far we can go, baby.
What are they going to do?
I'm going to see. And you know what? The book's good. I really like the book. I really like the editorial team. I like everything about it. I'm still going to see how far I can go until they actually send lawyers after me. So if I ever tell you the name of my book and that you can buy it, that's when you'll know lawyers have sued the fucking shit out of me. Like, to bankruptcy. I will be a destroyed and broken man the day I tell you what
This
my
is
book
why
is
I'm
called.
glad you're my business partner.
This is how I run every business.
Yeah, this is basically my approach too.
Sean, what's that business called?
Oh, 1-900-HOTDOG.com. Dial 1-900-HOT-DOG for fun.
Whore. Corporate whore.
I'm not hearing it.
Did he even say the name of the
natural.
Patreon?
Oh, yeah. We have a Patreon.
The
It's like the
Patreon
only way
is
we
how-
can make money. Don't even worry
both
about
of
it.
these men buy food as the Patreon that they've not even told you the address to. This show has no ads on it. They pay a producer to edit this.
Yeah. We pay $6,000 a year to do this show. We make nothing from it.
Worth every
we lose
penny.
quite a bit of money.
Jamie's great. You heard her theme song?
You know what? We have a store. I've told you about like 3 times in my entire
yeah.
life. And we commissioned new designs specifically about Big Feets, this show that we're on. I don't think I've ever mentioned it in terms of Big Feets.
We have a store?
Big Feet specific designs. We pay artists to make like incredible, full detailed paintings of us just in all of our glory doing Bigfoot's related hijinks. And I've never fucking told you about it. I probably never will again.
We got pre-peed jeans. We got bloody fake beards.
That's in there. That's all in there. All right, this is a Mountain Monsters watch-along podcast. Mountain Monsters is a hillbilly cryptid reality TV show where they go out in the woods and they pretend to hunt things. Right now, we are sort of determining what that is. It used to be Bigfoot. It used to be mostly Bigfoot. And then we decided, fuck him. Fuck Bigfoot. We didn't catch him. We didn't come to a reluctant peace with him. There was no like truce with him. Everybody just got fucking bored of Bigfoot. We're not sure what the thing we're doing next is. It's kind of Blair Witch. It's kind of Jigsaw. It's kind of still just goofing. But we have decided that with the Mountain Monsters old way, where we improvise a monster of the week, because that's how it used to work. They would just come out there and they would pretend, I'm hunting Mothman. We're hunting Mothman. All right, so we're going to figure out what Mothman does. We're not going to catch him. We're going to look like assholes. The end. That's a great episode of television. We're not doing that anymore. We've decided that what we can do now is one unbroken 8-episode arc featuring fantastical lore and multiple parties, all still completely improvised and never discussed with another person, and no second takes. No second takes. Everything you say, the first thing you say counts. It's the highest difficulty experiment on television. Like, you can go watch Nathan Fielder's. Yeah, The Rehearsal. Go watch The Rehearsal. A brilliant show where he puts an incredible amount of effort into what is essentially just a stupid joke. They're trying to rival that with no budget, no plan, and no comedic talent or training or even conversation. So it's ambitious and very
Nathan
stupid.
Fielder is going to win an Emmy for that episode where he drinks milk out of the giant puppet.
It's so good. It's so good. Have you seen that, Jason?
Yes. We cannot get off on talking about that show instead of this show. Because what these men are doing is so much harder. Because here's the thing. I think at this stage, they do have enough of a budget that they could ask for some effects. It's not going to be Jurassic Park, but if they wanted a shadow to move across the ground with no person attached to it, you could get an After Effects. You can hire somebody on Fiverr to do that for $100. There are very skilled teenagers that can do those. They could get a ghost inserted into these shots. They could do lots of things. They just choose not to.
You know what? We could do that. Jamie, put a ghost. Put a ghost in my camera feed right now. Oh, Jesus, a ghost. I just.
Oh, no, ghost, Jamie. Oh,
We just beat you. We just beat you, Mountain Monsters. It's incredible that the difficulty of the task they've set for themselves and the talent they have on hand to meet that task. The gulf between those two things is vast and incalculable. They will just, God, the hubris of it. I love it. I love it. I love to watch them fail. We're watching Mountain Monsters Season 3, Episode 4, The Black Wolf. Remember, we are doing continuity. So, a lot of shit happened last time. Jason gave you a primer last episode. It was very exhaustive, very thorough. Go back and listen to that. I don't want to have to do that every single episode.
I'm not doing it again. My head hurt so hard when I finished trying to get through all that.
Especially because as soon as he was done talking, we talked about the actual episode where they did not even remember which powers they gave which monsters. They don't care. They don't remember anything that Jason said in that primer. Just put it all out of your head. Maybe
two of their members just die from going into the woods. Unrelated to ghosts or monsters, they just will die leaving from their truck to wherever they're going outside.
So last time on Mountain Monsters, they got to the dark forest, which is not a real place. They did not go to either of the coordinates given to them by the puzzle master, which they spent several episodes getting. Jeff threw a bunch of little tantrums, and they decided that meant he was possessed rather than that meant he was being a little bitch. They saw a little girl and did not help her, and a stranger sat by their fire to tell them that noise you heard in the woods, that was a wolf. Basically, it's really only their word that anything supernatural is going on at this point. They could have just heard a forest animal and seen a little girl, and Jeff is hungry. Like that, it could all be explained. So we're here. Buck and Huckleberry have just gotten back. The whole team has just gotten back to their camp to find a mysterious stranger at the campfire. He said that the roar they just heard was the Black Wolf, and he's going to tell them about it. Buck and Huckleberry split off to talk to him. Just to paint the picture, he is wearing like a cabbie flat cap and a windbreaker, real casual looking dude. And he says, "Can I tell you a legend?" Just that's the kind of guy that, like, it's exactly the kind of guy that would wander up to like your beach bonfire unprompted and be like, "What are you guys hanging out? I got a story," and he's gonna tell them.
Okay, can we at least admit that two seasons ago they would have met this guy standing in the middle, like T-posing in the middle of the woods and saying, "This guy, we're going to talk to this guy named Larry. He's a farmer, and he says he saw the woman in the woods." Instead, they developed a thing. They're coming back to their base camp. They made a spooky moment out of it. There's a guy sitting here waiting for us. Who is it? What's he? Where's he from? Why does he know about this? There's some mystery. It's like more natural. This is so far. This is what the witnesses should have been like in the first episode of the show 45 episodes ago. But this is so much better than the way they did it. Now, will they go right back to doing it the old way next episode? Probably.
And
did they do this right? No. No.
I like Buck's reaction to, "Do you want to hear a legend?" He goes, "You have a weapon on you?" Implying that I'm only going to sit here and listen to your bullshit if you have a gun trained on my head.
That's exactly what I say to the beach stranger at the bonfire. It's like, "You guys want to hear a story? Do you have a gun? Because otherwise, fuck off." No.
That better not be a guitar. That better be a gun. Because if it's a guitar, you're about to get your ass beat.
So the vibe on this guy is very much off. He's real friendly, real casual when he's supposed to be spooky stranger, revealing omens to them. But Jason's right. They're trying something.
They're trying.
They get points. They get points for effort.
But he's so conversational about this legend. Like, this is his realm. This is the wolf lives around here. He's cool. He's chill. He's a chill monster. Been here about 200 years.
Been here for 200 years. Turns out, he says, you guys made your base camp right in the middle of his territory. So within the fiction of your show, of course, this is not real. It's not based on real folklore. None of this is based on anything. But they decided, like, we're the assholes here. We came up and made base camp in, like, the villain's living room. And they came out and it was like, oh, this is a freebie. All right.
And also, so he says that the Black Wolf has been here for 200 years. The witness in the very last episode said it had been 50 years. But then somebody thought, well, that's not very long. Like 1970, like the Black Wolf showed up in Black Wolf showed up here in 1972. That's a weird year for.
He loves the Bee Gees.
The legend of the Shawnee tribe says there's a shaman who died and his spirit turned into the Black Wolf. So these guys just don't get fan mail complaints at all. The fact that they previously hunted the spirit of some slain Native Americans who were tragically killed, and that they decided that they had to murder that creature. No, we're doing it again. We're going to hunt this thing. We don't care. We're going to hunt it. Doesn't matter. This is a Shawnee shaman, and the legend is his spirit turned into the Black Wolf, and the Black Wolf will come when the Shawnee tribes people have died to take their spirit to the afterlife. Which, of course, means this creature is their enemy and needs to die.
So they're going to kill it. They're going to kill the Shawnee Grim Reaper, and then no Shawnee souls will make it to the afterlife from this point forward. They will all just rot.
I think they'll live forever, is the way I took it. Because Buck realizes, like, oh, Jeff is Shawnee.
Then so why isn't he wearing the costume?
Yeah, prove it. With a dance that you're improvising and some war paint. So they're talking about how he's there for Jeff. Like, Jeff's about to die, which I think they might have forgotten that Jeff was told the exact day he's going to die by the ghost. And that's fine.
They have totally forgotten that. That is no longer canon to the show because every member of the cast has forgotten.
I'll tell you what they've definitely forgotten. That Huckleberry and Willie are both marked for death by this ghost. Nobody's ever brought that up again.
So two things happen that are unintentionally funny. That Buck leans into the guy's ear and says, "Is it possible the Black Wolf is here because someone who's Shawnee is about to die?" And the guy's like, yeah, that's probably.
Yep.
It says, the rest of the gang who are watching this from afar, and they see Buck get out his phone to take a picture, and the guy lift up his shirt and like snaps it, and it's like, and you're thinking the guy's like, I do 2,000 sit-ups every morning. You would not believe. No, look.
When it gets hard, it pops out the top of my pants. Take a picture.
That's what they see.
If I saw this and I was his friends, I would just start taking off my shirt. I'd be like, oh, is it like this kind of party? All right, let's do this.
They just see he leans in so close to whisper. That's not how you whisper a secret to somebody. Like, his lips are brushing against the man's ear. He makes his little request extra wet for him. It's like, it's got a real weird vibe. And then as soon as he's done talking, this is what they see. They see him lean in and just gently lick the man's ear, for all they know. They can't see the details at that length at night. And then the man lifts up his shirt and Buck takes a picture and their transaction is done. They're like, Buck just Venmo'd that guy $20.
Yeah, the next thing you see is Buck slipping him the cash. It'd be like,
it's a little Venmo friend notification with an emoji of like a tongue licking an ear. And they're like, oh, okay, I know what just happened. Buck comes back and says, that guy was a medicine man.
Is that why he had his finger in your butt? Is that the story?
As evidenced by the tattoo he showed me. And then they show the tattoo. And I'm afraid that this tattoo might be a real, authentic thing. So
no, it's a scary story to tell in the dark cover.
I have no
it's an anamorph.
The tattoo.
It's between a man turning into a marmot. It's like the third phase of an anamorph.
There's no way.
You're listening to the audio version of the show. The voice you're hearing now, this is Jason Pargin. I'm the one saying that I'm not making fun of that tattoo. The other voices you're hearing is Sean Baby and Brockway. If this tattoo is authentic,
if you're listening,
total
I'm best-selling author Jason
culture.
Pargin. It's an anamorph. It looks like an anamorph.
There's no way that's real. Also, I don't think it's an actual tattoo. I think they Sharpied that on, and not very well. Like, if that is an actual tattoo, get your money back, leave a 1-star Yelp review. Don't let me go to that tattoo shop and undergo the trauma that you have dealt with. 'Cause that's
Don't
bad.
let strangers in the woods take pictures of it. That should have come with every tattoo. That should just be the first thing. Washing instructions and then that.
So Buck tells Huckleberry what he whispered to the shaman, which is weird because it was only Buck and Huckleberry over there in the first place. So if you were just going to tell Huckleberry, why'd you have to get real wet in his ear? Maybe there was a different reason for that. Maybe your Venmo history says a little different. He tells him that he's coming, that the Grim Reaper, the Indian Grim Reaping Wolf, is coming for Jeff, and I guess they're gonna kill Death in this episode. That's the mission, is we're gonna kill Death. We're doing that's so ambitious. That's so ambitious.
I feel like some people are getting lost again in the plot because they're saying, well, now hold on. Initially, they made this trip because of the whole convoluted thing with, we need you to kidnap the woman in the woods. In exchange, we'll give you a bead on the rogue team, the Bigfoot hunting team that's been harassing you. One of the 30 or 40 rival Bigfoot hunting teams operating out of West Virginia at this current time. So when they introduced the thing with Jeff being mind controlled out to the site of a previous hunt, and it turns out that has to do with the previous curse, and the Black Wolf is trying to now draw him into the afterlife because the witch put a death curse on him. What you might be saying is, why couldn't the story have just been that? Like, if you eliminate the rogue team and the other rogue team and the other rogue team, you eliminate the Squatch body, the cards, the phone number, the calls, Trapper getting kidnapped. And in my recap, I actually left that out, Trapper getting left to bleed out in a shack, because it didn't wind up affecting anything. If none of that had happened, if the instigating incident was Jeff comes to them, calls a meeting, says, hey, I have a video on my phone that I don't remember doing this, of me being mind controlled after that woods. We've got to go back there. Like, they've put a mark on my soul, and let that be the episode. Why did you need all of this other stuff? And I can see why you would ask that.
Luckily,
I'm going to take it a step further. You don't even need the video. Jeff could just come to them and say, guys, next Tuesday is the day the witch told me I was going to die. Luckily, I Googled the however you get to Shawnee Valhalla, and it's a black wolf, and he actually lives over here in Lee County. We can go kill it, and then I won't have to die.
The only way to thwart a death destination given to you by the woman of the woods, I looked it up, is you must negotiate with the black wolf, which can only be done by putting it in a box.
And Senator Thomas Lee is the man they named the county after.
I've got yet another way. They could have been, I don't know, given coordinates by some kind of hillbilly puzzle master, and then they could simply follow the fucking coordinates. And once they get there, it could be, I don't know, the Black Wolf's house.
But did the puzzle master know about the death curse on Jeff? Do you see what I'm saying?
You're right. It's dumb. I shouldn't have brought it up.
Well, we know they watched the show, so they know about the death curse. Not only that, they were watching them. They probably know the mistakes they made getting the death curse. You shouldn't have let the ghost mind control you. Here, we took a picture of the time. You shouldn't have let that happen. Put it in the shed for you. I
get it. It was a dumb idea. Like, it's not like I spent 2 whole episodes of a TV show on it. All right, I was just throwing it out there. So
this is
we're done with that scene. He shows them the tattoo, and now we're going to Trapper's truck briefing. And I did not misspeak. It's Trapper's truck briefing. He's coming back. Trapper was laid up for a bit. He implied when he was bleeding out in the hut of shame, in a distant hut, wallpapered in every failure that he's ever suffered. And he was bleeding to death based on just a bit of hubris. And
tripping injury. He almost died from a tripping injury on the way to the shed of failure.
Listeners, this if you skipped an episode, this may be unclear. Trapper was not bleeding out in that shed encrusted in photos of his own failure as part of a saw trap or having been shot or an assassination attempt. He drove there and cut himself getting out of his truck.
And almost died. If the police hadn't found him,
died.
He would have died there. And then the hillbilly table saw would have come to the shack after he'd been like, it's been a while. He should have called me, and found him dead of no cause. Like, I did not do this. I had nothing to do with it. He just died. I don't know. Sometimes they just die.
In this show, in a scene they were trying to portray as serious and tragic, it would literally be like if in one of the Saw movies, Saw spent 6 months setting up the trap, and then the guy tripped and fell and broke his neck on the way there.
Yeah.
Or if he just he opened the door to his house and found the guy dead on his front doorstep, and it's like, wow, what happened to that guy? I guess I'll never know. Like, that's weird. I was gonna trap him. Like, it's crazy.
I'll still put the bear trap on his head. I mean, like,
I'll take credit for it.
I spent all night making it.
So Trapper pulls up to the dark forest, and he sticks a hand out the window as if to cup the darkness in his hand, and he says, "You can see why they call it the dark forest. We're here at midday. There's no birds singing, no squirrels quacking." Is that what squirrels do?
Yeah, they squawk.
They squawk.
Also, the term you're looking for is silent forest. They wouldn't call it the dark forest because it's quiet, because you're there in the middle of the day and you acknowledge actually during the day it's as bright as any other forest, but it's dead silent.
It's
and
also
this
so
is
much
why
better.
they call it the dark forest.
It's so much better if it's the silent forest. And they call it
Yes.
silent forest because you can't hear anything. There are no birds will go there. Oh, that's kind of creepy. The dark forest, no, that's nothing. So they debrief Trapper about Jeff's little tantrums and the little girl he found, to which Trapper goes, "God damn it." Just an odd reaction to being told that a witch has death cursed your friend. Like, fuck. Buck tries to send Jeff away again. Like, no, Jeff can't hear all of this because he's compromised. And Jeff, well, he goes full tattletale, baby. He goes full telling daddy mode. He said, "Trapper, they've been having little huddles about me. They took my gun. They took my knife. They took my dignity." Well, hold on. What's that last one? Excuse me? Pee-pee boy? Naughty pee-pee boy? Sleepy pee-pee boy 420? Pee-pee boy in your soil overalls? They took your dignity?
And here you could just have if the editors wanted to be mean, just a montage of Jeff just falling down and pissing himself and thrashing around, walking around in his underwear.
Weeping, the snot coming out of his face.
Interrupting Bigfoot stories to tell him about the fucking name of the county.
Wearing that ridiculous war paint that they had him put on for the ceremony, and they tied his beard in like Indian braids.
Or none of that, just do an Arrested Development style throwback to the guy going, "Whoa, who brought the wood elf?" And that's it.
That's so good.
Jeff finishes this little rant by saying, "Now, is that what you want, Trapper?" Like, Daddy's home. He's going to take care of all of this. And Trapper goes, "Yeah, why don't you head on out?"
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Fucking cranky bitch.
They send him and Wild Bill away. And Jeff is just yelling like, "I don't need a babysitter." He literally yells, "I don't need a babysitter." Like, you need a nap. It's nap time, buddy.
Okay, so we need to talk about something. When this show starts doing these reality show arguments that you normally see in like the Real Housewives or whatever, where they're like forcing the argument that you can, because in some of these shows, look, I am, I guess, unusual in this because I really find it hard to watch and or listen to when people have reality show arguments. I fast forward through them. I don't watch a lot of shows for this reason. It just, I don't like listening to it. I'm an outlier because clearly this is what people live for. These are the clips that go viral in those other shows. Some shows are based entirely around building up to the screaming match, or like the Bridezilla shows or whatever. Do you guys like the reality show arguments?
I like when it turns into like toxic male posturing, like when when they pretend like they're going to fist fight. There's something about that I find really funny. But when it's just like the yelling, I get really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, bad improv is one of the worst things to happen to any person in their life, witnessing bad improv. I've had to, and I lived in LA with actor friends in the comedy community. I had to go to a lot of bad improv from people I personally knew, and it was just, oh my God, like everything in me just cramps. Like you get soul cramps until you just want to die from it. So yeah, I have like a bad reaction to that. It's almost okay when it happens here because they're so bad at it that you don't necessarily recognize what they're trying to do for a long time.
Right.
They're going to devote like 40% of this episode's runtime to having the same argument over and over because they're trying to build up to a thing. And I admit I think this show is at its worst when it's doing that. But again, I would bet that the people who watched it, again, I'm unusual. And like, should we have arguments in this podcast? Like, would that bring more? Is that something that people actually? Let me finish.
I agree with this idea.
Let me finish. See,
of course, I'll let you finish.
This is what you do. You
You're
run your
absolutely
mouth.
right. I do this a lot.
You come on here. You run your beautiful little mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like that felt forced.
Very
it
handsomely
like,
said. And I apologize for interrupting.
We didn't do that right. We're not going to get the ratings. So Buck tells Trapper the Shawnee Grim Reaper is a wolf and has come for Jeff's soul. Trapper really takes that well. That's one of those sentences that it's just hard to really broach that subject.
I think even after that, Trapper suggests, like, we got to figure out if this thing's just a damn wolf. Or if he's what you said, the Valkyrie of the Shawnee afterlife monsters.
Because if it's that second thing, it's going to be much more difficult to trap. Right? Like, one of them can be captured in a small box that you can buy at Bass Pro. The other probably needs something, I don't know, sturdier, different bait.
Yeah. He reacts to being told death is a wolf. It's a Shawnee Grim Reaper. It's coming for Jeff. We're going to have to, we have to catch death itself is this mission. And Trapper's like, well, first, your main focus is to figure out whether or not it's just a wolf. Because I know you boys. Yeah,
I remember Hogzilla.
I remember when you caught the dogs. When you caught multiple dogs. It's happened before. It has been just a wolf sometimes, all right? And the pig didn't have hands. All right, I'm just saying. So he gives them that main mission. That's their main mission. They immediately disregard that. They decide, no, this thing is the Grim Reaper. We're going to treat it like that from now on. So we go to the night investigation, and they're out there. They're looking for any sign that a wolf is in the area. This is one of those things that, of all of the things they've ever done, why is this done at night? You're out here, you just said, we're out here looking for tracks. That's your mission. We're looking for tracks. So we came out here in the middle of the fucking night. We were out here earlier during the day. Didn't want to do it. Felt sleepy. Ate a big bowl of chili. Used the shithole. Used the both holes in the shithole pit. No, so they find the trail and they find another dug up spot, which is adorable that they came back to this. The Grim Reaper likes to dig. He likes to dig.
He's a digger.
He's a digger.
Any Shawnee souls down there? No.
Nope.
How about some bones? Some delicious bones?
And then
I don't want to imply that they are handling the legend of the Shawnee Grim Reaper insensitively, but the next thing they find is a piss post that this canine has urinated on, and then they
Grim
find
Reaper,
some scratch marks. And Willie estimates that whatever made those scratch marks had to have weighed between 250 and 260 pounds.
Pretty precise.
The Shawnee Grim Reaper, the shaman that was reborn in the spirit of a black wolf, weighs about 260 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's
like a 3/4 shack.
Yeah, a little pudgy. And he likes to pee. He likes to pee a lot.
He pees on things. He leaves very, very deliberate Wolverine claws on the tree.
The claw work here is like season 1 claw work. The very, just took a knife and just... Yeah.
And but the next thing Buck says kind of brings it all back together. Buck says, Well, now that we know he's 250 to 260 pounds, we can build the trap. Boys, we're fucking back. We're going to trap the Grim
We
Reaper
are
in a
back.
box.
I was so excited. He remembers the whole show format.
It's been
So
so
good.
long since a trap. Somewhere Willie just went, fuck yeah. You just hear him off in the background.
There's a moment of incredible improv here I wanted to talk about where they're like, okay, guys, we got to get ready. And Wild Bill says, I was ready since I came out. And here's where Huckleberry comes in with such perfect improv where he says, no, you're not. Yes, nailed it. That's how you do it.
So to give you an idea of how long it's been since they've done the trap, the last trap that he built was the sponsored Bass Pro Pyramid.
Oh, my
They
God.
got destroyed over a year ago in the Phantom of the Forest episode. The last time they actually incorporated a trap into the hunt, where they didn't just forget about it, was the freaking Ash Man, the one that molested Huckleberry, and it like bashed out the side of the trap. That's
Yeah.
the last time they've actually used a trap in the hunt. It's been a while.
Wow. God, that's so long ago.
Unless
And
I
now-
missed one.
Now that they're this out of practice, they're going to trap death. They're going to trap the Grim Reaper. We've
Well, they know
decided
he's 260 pounds,
I
so now they
can't-
know what kind of lumber to use.
I can't trap the great savings at Bass Pro Shops, but I can trap the Grim Reaper.
Because maybe this is obvious, listeners, but do you understand? If this is just a regular wolf, then they don't need to trap it because it means it's not
It
part of a
happened.
curse to take Jeff to the afterlife. If their only motivation for coming after the black wolf is that they believe it is the spirit of this dead shaman that escorts Shawnee, full-blooded Shawnee like Jeff to the afterlife, that's their only motivation for trapping it. So it's not either or. Like if they build the trap saying, well, we think this might just be a regular wolf. Well, you can't then hunt it. You don't have a license for that.
That's not allowed. They're probably endangered where you are. I don't know. They hear like rustling on either side of them. Huckleberry says, tighten up, boys. Which is just real sexy. Tighten up, boys. We're being followed. So they change nothing. They do absolutely nothing.
It's just a feeling. He admits that it kind of just feels like we're being followed.
It's very funny the way they cut to it because he says, we're being followed. Tighten up, boys. And then they cut to a testimonial of him saying, well, it's just a feeling. It's just a feeling.
Right?
If the three of us were in the woods for some reason, like on a hike, and Sean's like, hey, tighten up, I would have no idea what to do with that. I would not know
You
what
would
that
know.
means. I mean,
you
I'm
would
not
tighten the fuck up. You would
Flex.
know.
I'd flex everything. Ready, boss. Bust
Good
out
work,
the oil.
man. We're being followed. Maybe, kind of. I feel like we are.
I feel like I'd at least ask what that meant. They don't even have any questions. They don't ask, like, by who? What makes you think that? What should we do? They're like, well, let's continue on with our mission in the exact same formation we had. They continue. They gently waddle through the woods until, once again, they do the Jurassic Park shot where they go, oh my God! And we don't see what it is. Because what it is some branches. And the branches are
Goddamn
crossed.
Blair Witch thing.
It's another Blair Witch thing. The branches are crossed in a little X, and inside is a dead bunny rabbit. And Huckleberry says, there's this structure bigger than any dag thing I ever seen. It's over 12 feet tall.
And it just randomly has the dead rabbit hanging in the middle. And I 100% believe they're like, look, we can't just do yet another Blair Witch stick figure. We've got to get something. Do we have any of that fake blood left? What have we got? So they put like stones in a circle around it that are later going to declare to be like a medicine circle. And somebody came up with a dead rabbit. And like, hey, I got a dead rabbit. Like, great. Stick it in there. Put it in the middle.
Don't
Like
disagree
it's a
with that
sacrifice
choice.
or something.
It does add something to it to have the dead rabbit.
So what time is it? What are we going to do?
Oh, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
Time to get the fuck out of here.
I think the way Buck puts it, he goes, I think the best thing we can do is get out of here. But he could say that about every single thing they've ever done. Any
Meanwhile,
moment of their
season,
lives.
I would not put this in the drinking game because I think it becomes medically dangerous at that point. Because this is the only way Buck knows how to end an improvised scene in this show. Is like, this is too weird. Let's get out. Let's get out and come back tomorrow, or let's get out and come back tonight. Either way, it's gotten too spooky. We found too much stuff on our investigation. Just like the cops, they find a clue. It's like, no, back to the station.
Call it a case. Case closed.
Meanwhile, fucking hillbilly Jigsaw's over there in the bushes going, "Look at the rabbit."
Oh, what's in that rabbit?
Well, my name is Jeff. I like to pee. Let's all look at the rabbit. Maybe look at the rabbit's mouth, because like that one time we learned to look in animal mouths. You remember how we learned that all together?
You know how in storytelling, even in children's books, that clues come in chains where we find this thing and it leads us to the next thing and the next thing, and the viewer's eager to find the next thing. So if you keep running into a clue and then immediately just, all right, let's head on out. It just brings the show to a dead stop, because the next day you're just starting from scratch. Instead, it's like, well, now hold on. This rabbit's got something stuck in its mouth, or whatever.
Look at the rabbit. Look at the rabbit.
To voice where the show is here in part 2 of this 8-part sequence, Buck says, "Now we don't know what put this here. The woman of the woods, the black wolf, the raven mocker. And it could also be that little girl. Remember her?
Sure.
Or the rogue team, or the other rogue team, or the other rogue team, or possessed Jeff, or that medicine man guy, or that first creepy witness at the farm. Hogzilla, Johnny Ginseng.
Could be a rabbit suicide.
Yeah. Johnny Ginseng would never do that.
But no need to clarify any of that. The point being is like, hey, anybody could have left this. No need to examine it in some way to try to get an answer to that. Let's head on out.
Just look at the one thing it's got, like, it's all built to highlight this dead rabbit sprawled out there. And the one thing they don't do is so much as poke it. Like, they don't go up to it. They leave it hanging there. They're just like, I'm backing up. I'm out. I'm done.
They don't even take a picture of it, because when they're going to come and ask later on Jeff, like, his opinion of it, they can't just pull up the phone. They got to drag him out here to look at it.
Yeah.
Like, just take a picture, take a video. You don't know if it's still going to be there the next
day. A stranger's tummy. You're not going to just take a picture of a body.
So it's back to the trap shack. They are actually building, while Bill and Willie are actually building a trap now. They're building a trap for the Indian Wolf Grim Reaper, which is incredible. And Wild Bill is back to fucking form too. He's brought a goof with him, which he hasn't done in a while. He brought Jerky with him. And he says, "A wolf is a meat eater. Huh. That's what I'm gonna be. Pursuing this black wolf, I'm gonna consume a lot of meat. Jerky is my favorite."
I don't want to be a cynic here, but this does feel kind of like he showed up on the day and didn't bring any props. Yep. And Willie was like, "Do you have anything, like a bit?" And he's like, "Oh, and the only thing he had was the beef jerky that he had in his pocket anyway." And so he came up with, the wolf is a canine. It's a meat eater. So to pursue it, I've got to eat some jerky. Yeah, that's right. This is a prepared bit. This is a prop.
This is a classic. Yeah, so far the show is kind of deformed. They're doing folklore dumps. They're doing monster stats. They're eating a special diet for a specific hunt. Like, these are all tropes that I liked. So I'm kind of glad they're bringing them back.
I stole a cop car and brought it on set. It's not his best moment, but it's something. I miss when he used to say, "I'm eating hog to power up to capture Hogzilla." Yeah. Now, if he had said, "This is wolf jerky," I admit that would have elevated it quite a bit. If he had said,
Willie was leading
"This
him
is
there
Shawnee jerky," now that's
even better.
Previous seasons, we have seen Wild Bill load up a lit charcoal grill in the bed of his pickup and grill steaks while driving down the highway. I think that him stealing that cop car and then Willie just shutting him down, I think from then on it's like, well, fine. Because he pulled up in that cop car with like props and a whole character he was doing, and Willie was just like, well, that's interesting, but we've got to get started on this trap. And like, all right.
I actually
This
have a
one,
prisoner, are we not?
Yeah, I brought a dude with me. He asked him where he got his jerky at, which was like they're, where'd you get that jerky? As if like maybe that would be something like I don't know, Wild Bill smoked and dried a human drifter. I don't know what he was going for there, but it could have been good if it was Wolf or a Shawnee. They did a weird tooth bit here.
Yeah, he takes a hunting knife out and stabs himself in the teeth and says, "Flossing is a very important part of hygiene." And then he shows his terrible, horrible corpse teeth, just the teeth of a long dead man. It's pretty funny.
My notes say 7 rotten, shattered teeth poking out of 13 dark holes.
Yep,
that's just what my notes say.
Pretty close. So Willie now lays out his plan for the trap. He says, and what made me very happy, he said, it's a maze trap. And I'm like, oh, shit.
We're back.
He knows, right? He knows. It's been so long since he's got to build a trap. He's got to bring the A game. They stopped letting him build traps because he was just like, here's a fucking box. I don't know. I'm going home.
Plus, it's probably a Minotaur. Like, one of these creatures out here is definitely a Minotaur.
Yeah, why not? Why not the Indian Wolf Grim Reaper, he could be trapped by mazes? Like, I joked he's building a box for death, but he's building a child's labyrinth for death. That's pretty good.
Now, could they have thrown in some folklore saying, well, there's Shawnee legend that the only way to trap the Grim Reaper is to get it confused in a maze, and then it will go around and around, and eventually, so what we're going to do is, nope.
I was so sure that he was going to pull that, because Willie used to like look into the camera like a fucking maniac and then say, Mothman can't teleport through electricity, and you'd be like, fuck yeah, that's crazy. I don't know where that came from. He'd say just crazy ass shit like that to justify his trap. I was so sure he was going to be like, Wolf can't solve basic mazes because he's the Indian Grim Reaper. Like, I don't know. Whatever it was, I was sure he was going to say something. And then what he says instead is, we put 3 snares in the maze. So that's 3 chances to catch him.
3 little loops
so
of
good.
wire.
Only 3.
And that's the purpose of the maze.
If
It
I
gives
can't
you
get him
3
in 3.
chances. Yeah.
It is more lighthearted than turning the camera and being like, they invented mazes after genocide, so all we need to do is have a maze. Like, I would have.
They've never seen that. Denny's placemat, trap him forever. Trap him forever.
It's funny that we're this far into the show, because at least twice that I can think of in the lore of the show, they came up with some sort of a shape or a symbol that repels the thing. Remember the Snallygaster? They had those stars, and then there was whichever one, the Cherokee, whatever. It had like the mask that they had like the weird mask that repels it. Both times it's like, oh, okay, they're going to have the trap with these runes on the outside that will bind the spirit of the thing. And both times they just completely ignored it. And like, I don't know what we would do with that. That's interesting. Oh, well,
I mean, maybe. Well, let's see what they build the maze out of. Because what they build the maze out of, it could be some sort of mystical item. It could be like fairy rules, like forged iron. We'll see.
Sure.
You know, like it's all, the trap's not done yet. Don't judge them until it's done. They head out to find a spot to put the trap up, and they find a wolf track. They decide, wow, that's the spot right there.
There you go.
He walked there, so we're putting that there. Wild Bill does a bit where he like football tackles a dead log, nearly killing himself and Willie in the process. It comes down real close to Willie.
And he shouts to Willie, "Get it, girlfriend!"
I actually didn't catch that. Get it, girlfriend. He heard that on TV. He thought that's what everybody's saying.
Trying it out. I think he made it work.
While football tackling a dead log. Imagine if it had killed Willie and that was the last thing he had to hear. Get it, girlfriend. Thwack. So now it's time to actually build the labyrinth. Now, what would you build a labyrinth out of to trap the Indian Grim Reaper in wolf form? Write down your answers. If you guessed camouflage gauze, just like the AIM scene, you are also not going to catch the wolf.
Exactly what I put down. That's exactly what I wrote.
They put all the logs up around the perimeter to make the outline of the maze, and then they just fill it with a very thin cloth that you can see right through.
It's incredible.
That's not going to catch
Is this
a
like
normal
something you
wolf.
would make like a duck blind out of? Is that what it's for? You like
I
drape over
imagine.
the...
Yeah, something like that.
It's just
I would
like
imagine.
it's something left over from when they had a sponsorship deal with Bass Pro Shops. Like they got that on 40% employee discount, and they're like, we're going to goddamn use it. It wouldn't capture a regular wolf. Like you would just walk right through it. It would just walk right through it. It's incredible how hard he dropped the ball. You haven't been allowed to build a trap in like 2 years, and this is what you do.
It is probably the flimsiest trap they've ever built. Like it's obviously not enough to. I don't think there's like going to be a bunch of ghosts on the other side of the Shawnee afterlife saying like, "Hey, where is our harbinger of death? What did he get caught in like a little snare trap in a gauze maze?" I don't think it's going to capture what they're hunting. But even if it was just a wolf, like this wouldn't hold like a snuggly beaver. Like it is the most nothing of traps.
I'm imagining.
Again, it would be totally fine if it does not cost anything to add a line of dialogue that this fabric is made of whatever. And
we salted it.
This is
Done.
The Native Americans used to make fabric just like this out of some sort of weave, and
Camel
they
pattern
believed
and
that
all.
this could bind. They would make dream catchers out of it because it would bind the spirits, and so we've made it out of this special cloth that was blessed by a medicine man off camera. And it has properties. That's a way, because we believe, like you could just say, like, well, even if we made this thing out of concrete, this being, we don't know that would hold it, but we're trusting that the Native Americans knew what they were talking about. It just say that. Take 1 minute to say that.
I'm imagining the scene like in their old episodes where they would build some elaborate trap, and then they'd come back and be like, "My God, look, he burst right out of there. He exploded through those logs. That's how strong he is." Coming back to this maze, like, good God, he exploded right through that gauze. Can you imagine the strength he had? Like, that's got to be 20, 30 PSI? Like, I don't want to mess
He's
with
cat
that.
or above with that strength.
Oh, wait, hold on, guys. The wind did that. Sorry. Never mind. Forgot that it rained last night.
It's incredible. All right, so they're back investigating during the day. Buck and Huckleberry head out to meet Jeff, only to find he's not at the meeting spot. Now, don't get intrigued by that. Don't be like, "Oh
Right.
no, where
Yeah,
could
he
Jeff
hasn't
be?"
been taken or mind controlled.
Because what happens is they drive a bit further down the trail, like about 100 feet, and say, "Oh, there he is." He's just
Yeah, but first they tried to call him because they do have a 5G connection out here in the dark forest.
right off this road.
I wrote that
this
down,
road here
too.
through the dark forest.
They just ruined all their fiction with that. Like, why do any of this? Why not Google how to capture the fucking Valkyrie of the Shawnee right now?
Guys, you know what I thought they were going to do when I saw Dark Forest listed on the episode listings? I thought they were going to do a thing where they went to the woods in Lee County, Virginia, and went to a particular spot and then walked through it. And it's like, wait, this shouldn't be here. The highway should be here. This is, and then they walk and you film that thing where it's like, guys, we passed this spot again. It just loops around. We're trapped in this pocket dimension. This is the dark forest they spoke of. That it is a mystical place that if you hit a certain spot in the woods, you're not in Lee County woods anymore. You're in the dark forest. You are in another place and time, because they've already got magic in their universe. They don't doubt the magic. So I thought they were going to do a thing like it's the Legend of Zelda thing where you pass through a thing and now you're in a
the
weird
Lost Woods.
haunted woods.
Yeah, you got to listen for the song. You got to listen for the sound of Jeff's pee, then like follow it through.
But yeah, Jeff is just being difficult. He's like, "You were late, so I'm going to go wherever I want. I'm a big boy."
And what he
I don't
wanted-
pee my pants. I haven't peed my pants in 0 minutes.
What he wanted was to go along the same road just a little bit further than they discussed. They just drive a little bit further and he's down there. Like, I would not, if I was out going to meet somebody in like a park or something, And I got there and they weren't at the entrance to the park. And so I walked into the park for a little bit and saw them in there. I wouldn't be like, what the fuck was that? We did not discuss you coming this far into the park. He's just throwing a little toddler independence tantrum. He's like, you were late. I'm going to do what I want. And so they decide, we didn't take a picture. We didn't think to take a picture. We just ran as soon as we saw that dead bunny. Jeff, I know it didn't work. I know the last time we needed you to decipher a Blair Witch sculpture, you said, that doesn't mean anything to me. And we determined it might mean we're in the dark forest. I know that happened last time, but this time, buddy, you got it. Come look at the bunny sculpture and tell us what it means.
But there's an important plot point we have to mention here because it is very forced, and I know we're forcing it, but it's going to come back because they ask him, well, why didn't you answer your phone when we tried to call? And he says, I don't have reception out here, so I didn't bring it. It's like, well, why did they awkwardly insert that?
It's weird because we have reception when we called you. That's weird that we showed that on television. Yeah, that's weird. And we're on a family plan. So they need to tell him. They need to tell him they need to show him the bunny warning and figure out what it means. And they decide the rabbit. Oh my God, the rabbit's gone. What accursed thing could this mean? Where has the rabbit? Oh, it's over there. It's hanging from a different tree.
But see, we're not conveying that they tried to stage reality show argument every step of the way. Jeff does his bitchy little bickering thing about them being late, about his phone. When Buck is trying to lead him out there, there's a moment where Buck kind of gets lost. And he's like, well, now I think we turn up here. And Jeff's like, oh, you don't even know where you're going, do you? Like every moment he's trying to trigger a thing and they come up there and the bunny's missing from the thing. And Jeff's like, well, I thought you said there was a bunny in there. You can't keep your story straight. It's like, well, yeah, an animal came and took it. Probably it's meat. Like,
can't even tell where bunnies are. Who the fuck are you?
And then there was, they've got like the medicine circle around there. He's like, well, nobody stepped inside there, did they? And Buck's like, well, I did. Like, here we go. And they decide this is going to be the moment they're going to explode.
Mm-hmm. That's the prompt for them to have an argument when nobody stepped inside the mystical ominous circle, did they? And Buck says, oh, I did. That should be the prompt for you to be like, oh my God, like that means you're singled out. You're marked now. Instead, he's like, oh, you're a dipshit. That's not how you end that moment.
He said, psh, you're going to get in trouble stepping inside these medicine circles.
You're going to get in trouble.
That pushes Buck over the edge because he turns around like, Jeff, I am telling you for the last time, I am done with you snapping at me. And then it gets down to them like almost going belly to belly. They don't quite get there. And then, Buck's like, well, then why don't you do something about it? Which again, I thought they were going to try to introduce a thing like, oh, they're both possessed by the spirit of this bitchy person. And it's like, no. It's just Buck is mad because even though he knows that Jeff is like this because he's possessed by the Grim Reaper or a woman or a little girl or a Sasquatch or whatever, he knows that this is like he says 37 times Jeff is possessed. This is not how he normally acts, but they still turned it into a reality show argument because they decided like, no, this is what the show has to be now. It's got to be about this friction among members of the team.
Buck even says when he's like walking off after one of these confrontations, he's like, well, now I know it's possessed, but like that's the limit of my patience. I know he's possessed by the devil, but what a dick. He's being such a dick. I will not take that. But like they get to the point of confrontation and then Jeff's like, well, yeah, maybe I will do something about it. And then he just leaves. So like he's possessed to be like, oh my God, he's so much worse than the normal Jeff. But normal Jeff is still not capable of one like human confrontation. He's still like, well, maybe I'll just go then.
I would love it.
I thought he got a phone call.
I would love it if before the phone call, I would love it if they just exploded into a fist fight. That's like that fighting style from the movie The Raid. What's the name of that martial art, Sean?
Penchak Salat.
Yeah, and it's just full blown, just throwing each other against trees and just limbs whipping around. They've brought in like stunt doubles and they've practiced this for 18 months. And it's just the most elaborate fight scene you've seen in your entire life. One guy's like in a fat suit and the other guy's got like a fake beard on. It's just the most brutal knockdown. And at the end of it, they do that thing. It's like, well, I'm not feeling well. I just don't.
Jeff does the slow motion iconic on back knee just flying through the air.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Highlighted against the sunset. Oh, that'd be so cool. No, they have this little argument, and then as they're going over, like, arguing about the bunny crucifixion, Jeff's cell phone rings. Only he didn't tell them his cell phone worked. It's my little rebellion. What is that about? What is that about? And what he does is he answers that phone. He goes off to the side, and he answers the phone and he talks to somebody about something and then comes back to the conversation. And I want to just isolate this moment for the future. Okay, I don't want to jump ahead to spoilers, but keep in mind that he's standing with Buck and Huckleberry right there. He answers the phone and carries on the conversation, hangs it up, goes back to the conversation. So we'll come back to that. Right now we're having a little slap fight. Buck reaches for Jeff's phone and they have a little slap fight. At one point, Buck does pull Jeff's beard. Just gives a little beard grab, which is very weenie.
That'll piss off a wood elf.
Extremely weenie.
Yeah, it's pretty weenie.
Huck has to separate this very weenie fight. He points at Jeff and like, you gotta stop it, Jeff. Jeff gives his hand a defiant little smack. Smack. Don't you point at me. Don't you point at me. Like, that's enough to piss off Mom. Like, that's what that motion was like, you better stop. And then the little toddler slaps your hand and you're like, oh, mister, you're going to get in trouble. Oh, no. That's not possessed by the devil. That's a toddler in trouble. So after this little interaction, Jeff takes off and they follow him. And they reach him and grab him to turn around. And Jeff, still possessed by the spirit of the devil, says, what, are you going to beat me up some more? Yeah, that's what the devil sounds like. Again, I know what you're going for. You're going for like the possession has made him furious, but he's still such a weenie. Oh, anyway, he turns around and he's got a bloody nose. And he's got that bloody nose again. And he blames it this time. He blames it on his high blood pressure, which is, again, maybe it's a witch's curse. Maybe he needs medication that he takes.
Yeah, because again, he's got that. For those who don't actually watch the show, remember, Jeff has that long white prospector beard, so there's easily a quart of blood that they've poured just down that beard. It's disgusting. But his nose is not just bleeding a little bit, is the point. It's like it has drained out all the way down his chest. And yeah, I don't care if that nosebleed is caused by a witch or not. He needs to go to an emergency room either way.
But he's just really cranky about it. He's like, well, fine. Now my nose is bleeding. I want to go home. I don't want to play Dark Forest anymore. I don't like it. And so
this next part is confusing because he says, take me back home. And then later he says, take me back to the farmhouse. And they take him back to this large farmhouse. And I thought they had driven him back to wherever he lives in West Virginia. But I thought also they were all staying at that base camp that they made Willie build. And then later they're going to use the phrasing, well, we're going to go out to that farmhouse where Jeff is staying. So is this an Airbnb that only he's staying at? Is everyone staying at that and not telling Willie that they're not using the base camp? Are they all at bedtime like, well, we're going to turn in, Willie. We all just got to go out and get something. Just you go ahead and go to sleep on the dirt, and we'll.
Yeah, they might have booked it after they saw that shitty thing Willie built.
Yeah, what is this, a two-holer? Airbnb. Best Airbnb toilets in my area. It's incredible. Like he goes to a separate house to go. Like it's not his house. Okay, they said they don't live in Virginia, and it's not implied that they drive for hours and hours and hours to drive him home, especially with what happens next. So it's like a house that they're renting out here after they made Willie build half of a play fort. Like,
this is not a minor point. The entire plot of the rest of this episode revolves around this house and who's there and why. And it's not a case where he's like, well, take me up the road, take me to this place and drop me off. And they're like, at this farmhouse? It's like, no, they all know what it is. They're all like, yeah, we're gonna take it back to the farmhouse. Like, I keep imagining them painting over to Willie, like, what farmhouse? Like, we'll talk to you later about why we booked this place.
So Buck and Huckleberry meet up with Willie and Wild Bill. They all agreed that they have to go watch Jeff tonight, which I think that's probably not their first time. I think that this is maybe something they do together. But here's the plan. Willie and Wild Bill are going to split off and sneak up to keep their eye on Jeff. Well, Huckleberry and Buck also keep their eye on Jeff, but crucially from the truck because they don't want to get out.
And to make it clear, you have to understand these arguments they had with Jeff, that was during the day. This is their night hunt. They gather to do the typical night hunt. We're all standing here. We're all getting ready. We're coming up with our plan. And they're hunting Jeff.
They're hunting Jeff.
They're
Not only
Jeff.
They're pincering Jeff.
They have their guns. Like,
Yeah.
Like Wild Bill's got like his sex boots on, those lace-up boots we mentioned. Like they're
Action
all
boots.
ready to go. And and Huckleberry's like, we're going to put a hillbilly recon on Jeff. And again, that means exactly what it.
Yeah. Doesn't mean anything weird.
The little action reel they do is so funny because they drive up to presumably outside of Jeff's house. You don't know yet. They drive up and then thrilling Mission Impossible music kicks in. Just driving bass line. Bum, 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 bum. And then what Willie and Wild Bill do is combat roll out of the back of the pickup truck and run through Jeff's backyard.
But they're doing it like they're dodging artillery shrapnel.
Yeah.
Like they get low and fast and they are moving like they're just trying to stay unseen. They act like if we are spotted, the atmosphere is absolutely, if we are spotted, we're dead. It's like
Jeff will
it's
kill
the
them.
house where Jeff is staying.
You were
And I
just
just
here.
imagine like if he catches us, he is going to be so bitchy.
Yeah, it's gonna be. And he's already been a little bitchy.
This whole thing, I feel like, needed the perfect speech because Buck is trying to lead them on this mission, and they're like doing the deadly pincer maneuver on one of their own. So this needs to be like this. Men, today we're fighting one of our own. We need to it needed a rallying kind of explanation to keep them motivated to do this terrible thing. But what he says is, the Husky Ninja and the Ninjetties. And they all laugh like that's something, but it's not. It's not anything.
Where the
But
Husky
once they
Ninja?
get there, they dispatch those two to do recon on the house, Buck gets on the radio and says, whatever you do, do not get spotted.
Right.
Because it's going to be so awkward when we have to pretend like, hey, we came up here just to check on you. And then, by the way, they see like a lit window, and like they obviously all of us are imagining them getting up to the window and peering in, and it's Jeff and like 3 sorority girls,
Yeah.
doing just the nastiest foursome. And they're all like fans of the show, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I can get you guys witnesses. I can make you witnesses the next episode. I can do that.
You got
yeah."
weird hats?
That's pretty generous. I was picturing the exact scene from Milky Life with Mickey Rooney. Which I'm not going to explain what that is.
Yeah. Our listeners know.
Yeah,
Listeners
if you
of the
don't
Dog
know-
Zone 9000, they'll
If you
know.
don't know, don't look it up. Don't look it up. Just let this one go. You don't need to know. It's not that funny.
Let's just stop and explain the Milky Life for 70 minutes.
Nope, we're moving on. We're moving on. So they spot him in the window and they run up against the house. Again, just playing this music is thumping. The cameraman is like struggling to keep up with them. They flatten themselves out on the house like they're going to have to like find cover, like they're covering from incoming fire.
They do a horror music like A24 Sting when Jeff appears in the window. It's like, ching! It's like, it's just Jeff. It's not like
just Jeff.
It's not like Jeff in like a leather mask or something. It's just Jeff. He's just standing up like, what's up there?
I picture the Ames team video game is just like Jeff's sightline shooting a cone of light out over, drifting over them. As he pans back and forth. Oh no! So what happens is they start to move up on the door, and then the porch light comes on, and they all have to scramble back, presumably giggling the whole time. And Jeff comes out with two strange dudes. So like Jason's little scene is not far off.
Mm-hmm. I didn't read it as a sex thing. Maybe I should have, but I read this as like he was two-timing them with another Bigfoot hunting squad.
That's totally what it plays as.
That's what they're implying. What do you guys think would be the funniest two guys it could turn out Jeff was with? Mine would be, I think I would go with Kendrick Lamar and Pete Davidson.
Oh, any guys. I was thinking for some reason it had to be in the Mountain Monsters universe. No. I was like,
just anybody in the world. What's the funniest two people it could turn out Jeff was meeting with at 2 a.m. in the middle of his Bigfoot hunt?
Cornbread and the Grass Man. I'm still on the rules. I got the rules wrong.
I'd say just a diaper salesman and a rival diaper salesman.
He comes out with two strange dudes, and they're like, "Oh my God, Jeff is cheating on us." I guess that's the vibe that you get. Yeah. So Buck orders Wild Bill and Willie back to the truck, and they try to do this rolling mount thing because Jeff is getting in his own truck with these other two guys and taking off, and they have to follow him. And so Wild Bill runs up and thinks he can do like a Fonzie style cool mount into the pickup truck, and what he actually does is hops about 2 inches in the air and just crotch thrusts the side panel of this pickup truck so hard that he knocks the wind out of himself.
Yeah, dude.
If this was an intentional bit of slapstick, it's very good.
It's very good.
It was so
if it's
funny.
an accident, it's obviously even funnier. But if he intentionally did this, he plays it very well. It's like the funniest possible way you could fail that jump.
Not
you know
even
what's
close.
great is he does make it the second time real badly. You could tell he's a little fucked up from it. But then the cameraman just gets in the truck. It's such a funny little punchline on the whole thing.
What's very good is that you can hear Willie. I don't think it's supposed to be like the point of the scene. It's just kind of in the background. He goes, "Get your ass in there." Just no patience.
So tired of Wild Bill.
No patience left for the. All right, buddy. So
he's
Jeff
probably a little grouchy about no one using his little log cabin.
Yeah, he just found out is what it is. So Jeff and his new buddies, his new Bigfoot bros, are heading into the dark forest together, which is the Ames team's special spot. I can't believe he's doing this to them. They all weapon up and follow Jeff's boys into the dark forest. Now, Willie and Wild Bill are going to split off in one direction. It gets a little technical here. Buck and Huckleberry are going in another. We're in another direction, and this is like we just did the pincer movement. We're pincering again, boys.
Hell yeah!
And you fools, don't you understand? This is exactly what Jeff would be expecting. He knows all your moves.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's Mountain Monsters, Jeff's rival plan is to have two of his boys go one direction and he goes the other, and then they all just meet really awkwardly at the same point. The exact same parabola has intercepted, and they're like, "Oh, okay. Well, we gotta get back there. We gotta get out of here." So it turns out Jeff is the boss here. Jeff is the secret boss, which is very funny. Jeff is ordering the men around. Like, he doesn't get to do this in his day-to-day life. So he's gone to a different school and presented himself as the cool kid. And now he's like, "I'm the boss of all these kids over here. They don't know I'm Jeff the pee-pee boy. They have no idea."
I thought for
fresh.
a moment what this meant was that the Ravenmocker was controlling Jeff. And Jeff went up to these other random people and was like, "Ignore this form. I am the Ravenmocker. You must follow my commands." And I thought that's what we were dealing with, is that these people worked for the Ravenmocker being piloted by...
That would have been really cool, because it's already been established that this thing takes over Jeff and puts him in a fugue state and takes him to locations hundreds of miles away.
But he's not in his underwear.
they have they have already
his underwear.
foreshadowed that this is how it works. So you would think, well, why would they have set that up if they weren't going to turn around and incorporate it? So yeah, actually, that would make sense if all three of them were being manipulated by these beings to make them go do whatever.
That could still happen. I mean, we're going through this live right now. Who knows how this is going to end?
We'll see.
Well, yeah. So, and they're following through when Buck stops abruptly. He spotted another trip line. It was Jeff setting them all along. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, Huckleberry, I think Buck says, you reckon maybe he's doing that to keep us out of here? And Huckleberry says, but why? And you can tell he's asking that of the improv. Like,
of the improv.
We've backed ourselves into a corner here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure this makes sense.
What does that mean? Like, I don't...
He doesn't know where to go with it. Cut. Colt, can you get over here and get the
why
production
would
notes?
he be doing this?
Colt just back there behind the camera going, nope.
Not my job.
Nope.
It's in my contract.
I just filmed. Look, this is the point in the nature documentary where you're rooting for the gazelle, but you know he's not going to make it. Like, yeah, I saw the improv fail, and I just got to watch you die in this scene. I've got to watch death come for you.
Guys, you've got 7 more hours of this.
Yeah. Remember, all one thing. We're good. All one thing. So they follow Jeff's team further into the woods, but all the way back to the bunny crucifixion, and they can see him doing something with the rabbit, which Wild Bill theorizes must be some kind of voodoo seance.
Close enough.
Yeah, sure. Mash it all together. What they're actually doing is they're lighting it on fire and then leaving. like burning the evidence, maybe, or maybe it's ceremonial. They don't really know. The Ames team runs up to see what has he done. Like, we got to get in there. We got to run up there before it all burns up so that we can find out what this meant. And so they run up on it and they determine, I don't know what this means. There are no clues.
There's an exchange here. I know you have it in your notes where Wild Bill says they burnt the bunny. Should we give him CPR or something? And then Buck, for some reason, of all the fictions they have, he chooses to stay in this one and says, Bill, it's too late for that. He's been dead for days. Not, no, you fucking idiot. We're not going to give the burnt bunny CPR. He says, it's too late for that. He's been dead for days.
We've seen this happen a couple of times. What was the episode where Wild Bill chose to put the chef's hat on? And they cooked the bacon and it caught fire and he was wearing like this half-burnt chef's hat. But it was like the most emotional episode they've ever done. So there was a scene where they're like all crying and Wild Bill's wearing... because Wild Bill knows the show is silly. And he's like, he knows it. So when he says... like, there's this bunny burnt to a crisp, and he says, well, should we give it CPR or something? That's a very funny line. That's what I hope I would think to say if I was there on the scene. Like, oh my gosh, somebody get that bunny out. It's going to die. Because it was already dead for weeks when they first saw it, and now it's on fire. Like, that's great. And then Buck is like trying to redirect him to, no. This is serious prestige TV. Our friend has been possessed by or marked for death by a witch. So he has to treat it like in the fiction Wild Bill actually thought, again, he's so mentally impaired that he thought that they could perform CPR on this rabbit that had been dead for weeks. And it's like, no, Bill, it's too late for that. He's been dead for days. It's sad. Like we're too late.
There's a way to read that whole exchange just in tone. Where Buck's assisting the punchline, where he's being the straight man. No, he's been dead for days. Waka waka. Like, it's not, I just want to emphasize in the show, it's not said like that. It is not said in the tone where this is a comedy bit and I'm playing off of it. Wild Bill comes in with the setup, sure. Like, he knows that's a joke. What Buck says, it's too late for that. He's been dead for days. Like, he's in full earnestness mode, not played as a joke. It's a very bizarre scene. What is even funnier is then he says, hey, watch out, to Wild Bill. And it turns out Wild Bill this whole time has been standing in the fire.
So he got there again. Buck's a terrible comedy partner. Wild Bill still made it work.
It's just been the whole time he has been slowly catching on fire, and he didn't realize it because what has he got? Stripper boots. He's got the stripper boots, baby. He's out there standing in the flames, trying to start a bit about the dead body.
They're sexy. They're fireproof. They're the best boots.
Oh, shit. So anyway, to recap, they've seen Jeff out here with confidence, showing authority in front of other men. It's not like him at all. Something's very wrong. Buck figures they should go over to the trip lines and just set him off. That'll show him, fall him straight into his trap.
Again, they're not hooked up to anything important. They're not claymores. Just fucking hit the line. It doesn't matter.
And also, what does it matter if they get caught? There's no danger. Like, it's not like they've been terrified of getting caught prior to now.
Right. Nobody knows why we're doing this. And so what Buck has figured is, I'm sick of this. Let's just go hit the trip line and force a confrontation. Because whatever we're doing improv-wise, like, literally some of us are not in the same scene. So we don't know what we're doing. We have not discussed this. Jeff has no idea. He doesn't have a cue to come in here. Let's make a cue. Get him in here. So they once again, they need to make a plan about this, though. So what Wild Bill and Willie are going to do is they're going to split up one direction. They try to pincer him again.
Triple pincer.
This is not a pincer. This is an ambush, because both of them go hide and with their guns, which again, if you think back to what has actually occurred in these last two episodes, this is not a gun situation in the least. There's no indication that these other guys are even armed or would do anything if they discovered them. One of them is Jeff. You presumably could say, hey, Jeff, it's us. Don't shoot us. But no, they are crouched down. Huckleberry with his AR-15 and 30 rounds of high velocity, jacketed round 5.56 millimeter in the magazine, like waiting for war.
So they set up the trip line, and what comes down the road are headlights. But Jeff was on foot. It's almost like we didn't think this through. So a truck drives up instead, and it's impossible. Which I just want you to keep in mind. It's impossible for it to be Jeff. They've said Jeff was on foot. That truck just came up from that direction. Couldn't have made it in that time. What's going on here? Who are these people? So now we have new mystery players. We don't know who these people are. They've arrived on scene, and there's only one guy they determine at first coming down with the light. So Buck is going to sneak around him and get up to the truck to see where the others might have gone, if there are others. He wants to know who's in that truck. Who is this third player? But there's no one in there. And then Willie, I think, has to radio him to be like, Buck, get out of there. That guy's heading back to his truck. There's only one place Buck thinks he can go, despite being in the open woods, in some kind of, like, I don't know, like a dark forest full of, like, cover where you could hide. He determines, no, there's only one place I can hide, and that's in the bed of the truck with my cameraman.
Okay, there's two stages here, because the first thing Buck does is he goes flat, but he has no cover around him, so it's a completely open section of ground, and then he tries to make himself invisible by his body type doesn't lend itself to what he's trying to do there. And the way it's shot, I feel like the camera person went out of their way to emphasize how much that is not covered for Buck. I feel like there's a way they could have shot it that could have made it seem like that he's like, it's just completely open ground, and there's this man lying there, and it's either a person or some
kind of a Kirby. You're trying to put it in a nice way, but he doesn't shrink when he turns sideways, is what you're trying to say.
So, like, the guy then gets in the truck, and then he jumps up and gets in the truck and, like, covers himself in a tarp, and then tells the cameraman, oh, get in. So they're acknowledging that in the bed of this truck, hidden, is Buck, all of him, and a cameraman and they're not using GoPros for this show. Like, it's a full, like, TV production, 4K camera with the battery and all that. It's a large thing, and they're both back there under a tarp. And the mystery person gets in the truck and takes off driving it. So now it's that classic scene where Buck is, like, back there radiant, like, I'm in the truck. And they're appropriately...
And it starts with him
You are?
Smashing into the truck. Like, the first thing that happens is all 400 pounds of him slides up and bonks into the cab of the truck.
A moment that I know was not planned, but they sure left in the show. The editor, again, hates these guys.
Hates them.
Guy driving the truck, like, this is riding a lot lower than usual. I got suspension's really, what's going on? I gotta go back there and inflate the tires or something.
Buck also takes the tarp off and, like, peeks up through the cab a couple of times.
And what does he see? Who's driving the truck?
Oh my God.
It's Jeff, baby. The one guy it could not possibly have been. Remember, we decided that can't possibly be Jeff. Jeff was on foot, headed the other direction. I don't know why we said that, because it turns out we were just wrong.
We were wrong.
It's not a mystery.
Before we go any further, I want to make it clear that he took the tarp off and he was looking up to try to help them track him. He's like, okay, we took a left. Now we're on some gravel. I can see the moon. I just want it on the record that he did the Simpsons gag of, like, I'm directly under the Earth's sun now. Like, he did that during his Bigfoot hunting show improv.
But, okay, so the rest of the team are following. We forgot to mention that. The rest of the team are following. They run back to their truck. And it's very important to note at this point, Wild Bill tries the jump again to get in the back of the truck all cool and misses again. I don't know if he's doing an intentional callback now. I think maybe he realizes that was pretty funny. I could make it a joke. Maybe he just doesn't learn real well. But he crotch slams the truck again and then takes another running start to get back up. But anyway, they're following this truck. And you got to keep in mind, this is the dark forest. It's a rural place. There's one road that goes through. And you can see headlights. They show the camera, like, tracking the headlights of the other truck moving through. And then all the while, Buck is narrating, okay, we're driving across some gravel. Oh, I can see the moon. They're looking at him. They show the camera looking at the truck that he's narrating. Like, he's trying to do the, like, I'm stuck in the trunk, I'm deaf. I can hear trains. There are seagulls nearby. Like, you've got to track me by the clues. They're literally looking at the truck as they drive behind it on the one road. There's only one road.
That's what makes that I can see the moon line so great.
We're
and
under
only
the same
in this
moon.
show could you get that, because like, I can see the moon.
Cut back to Buck going, that must be the... Or cut back to Willie going, that must be the moon he was talking about. I wonder, you think that's the same
means
one?
He's on the same road that we've been on, the only road.
By the position of the stars, I can tell I'm in the truck that I just got in.
and they're 30 feet behind. It's very funny. It's very funny. Jeff is on the phone with somebody. He gets on the phone with somebody. And he's telling them, stay in the barn. Stay in the barn and wait for me. And he pulls up and he stops the truck at the barn. And Buck and his team, or Buck gets out, and then the team meets up with him. They've followed him because, again, they were 30 feet behind. They just parked right behind him.
They were right there. They immediately are there, yeah.
Buck just literally hops out of the truck, and they're all together. It's very funny. And they decide, well, that's it. We need to confront Jeff. So there's only one thing to do. We've got to split up into the fourth pincer movement of this episode.
Oh, pincer!
Or pincer episode. They pincered the holy shit out of Jeff. That goddamn idiot got pincered so hard. Wild Bill and Willie go around the back. Buck and Huckleberry take his front, just like always. They open the doors.
All right.
There's a line, and Jason says you crossed it.
They open the doors, and they find what's inside that barn, which is so shocking. They'll never recover from it. It's...
now, hold on. Stop. Because we, again, do that Jurassic Park reaction shot. It's like... And here, what is the funniest person that Jeff could be in there talking to in the world for that moment? I'm going to go with Vladimir Putin.
Mickey Rooney in the baby from Milky Life.
Indistinguishable. They're teaching each other. It's a baby meeting.
But instead...
It's Trapper.
It's Trapper.
It's Trapper. Now, you said that with some disappointment, but I got real excited when I saw it was Trapper in there. First, because maybe like worst case scenario, it's the love we shall not speak its name. Like it's their, this is how they get together. Not even in a sexual way, but just to like be best friends when the group dynamic does not approve of it. They don't like Jeff very much. But this means, okay, what the team has just stumbled upon is Jeff and Trapper meeting in secret. Now, there's a couple ways that this can go, the implications for what they're setting up next. And it's either Ames' team is doing a hillbilly Michael Douglas's The Game, which I'm fucking so excited for.
That would be
or
great.
they're doing a hillbilly The Departed, which I'm also equally excited for. Because either way, both of those story archetypes, anything they do from this point forward is something with a lot of moving pieces, a lot of things to keep track of, a lot of like twisting arcs that you need to call back to things that have happened before and shed them in a new light that you might not have thought about. Like all of these things they cannot do at all in any way.
I want to, along those same lines, the name of the next episode, Huckleberry's Predator.
Yeah, because that's the key. Once you know the truth, once you've seen this twist, you need to be able to go back and watch these 2 episodes again, and it should make perfect sense now knowing what you know.
All
it should
led to
definitely
this.
not be a situation where they got there on that night and they're like, well, who's he? Who wants to go in there and be the person he's with? I'm like, we can make Trapper come and do it. He's asleep back at the farmhouse, but we could, like, who else could it be? Pablo? Like, we don't.
Do we have Shaq's number?
That's the reveal of the episode, and either whatever we're doing, it's guaranteed to be so far beyond the capability of the storytelling talents of this team that it's gonna be fucking magical. It's gonna be just. I think they might. You know what? We've seen a terrible tattoo. They might be doing Memento. What if they're doing Memento?
Oh, God, that'd be great. A Departed Memento,
In the woods with Bigfoot.
as written by the improv performers of Mountain Monsters.
Anything they do from this point can only make me happy. Unless they do, I don't know, an episode called Huckleberry's Predator or something. Like, unless anything else could make me happy. It's the only way I could be disappointed, so let's hope it's not that. Okay, let's end on our favorite quotes. Jason, how about you go first this time?
When they are having one of their many arguments, when it's Huckleberry and Buck versus Jeff, and they're trying to come up with things to say to each other as like lines that will like end the thing, like get out of my face or whatever. Jeff finally says, well, why don't you two go over there, huddle up, and kiss each other's asses?
Sean, how about yours?
Oh, no question. The funniest line for me, if I'm not mistaken, it's the only word said during the teaser. At the beginning of the show, they always show like, oh, here's what's going to happen on this episode of Mountain Monsters. And the only words spoken were in the very serious narrator voice. He goes, tonight, the dark forest unleashes Jeff. I laughed so hard I had to pause it.
Jeff Unleashed lights up on his
inner
one-man
bitch
show.
Unleashed.
This little fussy bitch is so cranky.
Shirtless in a bandana on a stool, a single spotlight falls on him. Unleashed.
Just fainting. I think my nose is bleeding. Jeff. Can they face Jeff?
My
Here
favorite
you go,
line.
home guys. I bet my pants again.
I don't need a babysitter. So much dignity, so much power and grace, like a leopard, like a piss-soaked leopard, about to be put down. All right, my favorite line. It's a little line, but I really appreciate the subtle beauty of it, and it's when they're lining up to do the 4th pincer of this episode, and Buck is explaining it to the team like they might not know what it is. He's like, all right, Wild Bill Willie, you're going to go tactical this one way, and we're going to come the other way. And it's like a light bulb goes on in Willie's head, and he goes, we'll flank him.
A word that just now has occurred to him in season 4 of the show, the thing that they've been doing, it finally... Like, oh yeah, we're gonna flank him. That's right. That's what should have been calling this all this time.
It's like he was lost the whole time, and he's like, "Oh, you were trying to say flank the whole all right, I get it."
Oh God.
Or just a really sarcastic shutdown. You think we'll flank him? All right, I know we're phoning
buddy.
it in.
Yeah.
We'll let you build a box next time, okay?
The worst episode. Just unquestionably, nothing could be worse than this.
So far, the next episode has some promise.
The title alone, I'm afraid to even watch it. Maybe we should just end the podcast here.
Because you had to be a Bigfoot teacher, you had to open up your mouth. You had to be a Bigfoot teacher. All your friends were so knocked out. You had to have the last word last night. You know what everything's about. You had to have the white hot spotlight. You had to be a Bigfoot last night. Whoa, whoa.